Produced by the Cleveland Sound Radio Network. Here is the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show, hosted by Glenn Moore and Steve Guy.
Welcome to the second episode of the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. And we have, I'm Glenn Moore. Follow me on Twitter at GlenMooreCLE. My co-host, Steve Guy. Episode number 2. Number 1 went so well, they brought us back for number 2, buddy.
That's amazing. Who would have ever thought that they would have liked us that much?
I was waiting for the email from Ryan saying, guys, we're going to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
Good luck with your future endeavors.
Like, I don't really know that anybody likes wrestling anymore. I mean, you guys are grown men talking about wrestling.
But
I don't know if that'll catch on.
But we're back.
Here we are.
And for those listening for the first time, we recap what happens in the world of wrestling, and we mix in interviews. Last week, Jerry the King Lawler was picked up by all the websites, all the dirt sheets, and went pretty well with the interview. It was awesome.
A lot of fun
Jerry
to
on.
talk to Jerry.
It was great.
Especially, because he's so involved in the Cleveland sports.
Yeah.
What a blast. I didn't know if we were ever going to talk about wrestling with him. As soon as you brought up the Browns.
It was a great half an hour of talk. And we have a special guest this week, Ethan Carter III from TNA, a guy from Willoughby, Ohio.
Another local product.
This is a hotbed. I talked to Ethan about this in an interview. Cleveland's a hotbed of professional wrestlers because you get The Miz, you have Dolph Ziggler, then you have Ethan Carter III from TNA, and also, I'm not sure if you ever heard of her, Jessica Havoc. She is from Canton, and she just was the Knockouts champion in TNA.
Oh, wow.
So, there you go. That's 4 wrestlers that are in the top 2 promotions from the Cleveland area. So, that's great. So, I talked about Ethan with that.
I mean,
You are a huge wrestling fan, and you can't stop talking about this Orton Ziggler spot from last night, which has parlayed into a segment that we're going to do here. And This Is Awesome Wrestling Show is the This Is Awesome moment of the week.
That's right.
And they were actually chanting our podcast name, our show name.
They were.
They're in the show. It's great.
They were chanting, "This is awesome."
The first show went well. They were chanting it on Raw Live.
Yeah, they were like, "We want to be mentioned in the This Is Awesome show." So they started chanting it. And I was like, man, that's what I was thinking last night. And I was like, I cannot believe that people like Glenn Moore and myself this much, that they are now chanting our show name
20,000
during
people
Monday Night Raw
in Atlanta chanting our name.
I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either. And you can listen to our podcast, our show, every week. Every Tuesday we'll be releasing this if it's first time listening or second time listening on Cleveland Sound Radio Network. Follow us on Twitter at CLE Sound, Facebook CLE Sound, and also on the web, clesound.com. We're also on iTunes, Stitcher, all those platforms. You guys can download our show. But also other shows on the network, Chad Zumach, Channel 3 personnel, Rick Ricconia. So plenty of shows on the network you guys can check out, and you can be streamed right to your phone, right download it. So,
like Cleveland athletes, CLE Sound is also diverse. but awesome.
All right, let's stick right to Raw. We have some rumors to talk about. Hulk Hogan, is he going to get in the ring, face John Cena? We also have Kurt Angle. Is he going to go to WWE for a little farewell tour?
Yeah.
So a lot of rumors going around. But first with Raw, I thought it was a decent show. It wasn't terrible like the garbage we've been seeing. The guest hosts, can we get rid of those guest hosts? But I think here's the thing. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but the NBC angle.
Yes.
These shows are all, you're right. The Housewives show and that stupid family show that's after Raw, I even know the name of it, but they're all underneath the umbrella of NBC Universal.
Oh, that's right, because they own USA, I think, as well.
So I'm figuring that they're pushing all these shows to get promotion, free promotion on Raw, which is great for them, but for us, we don't care.
Right.
I don't care about it, do you?
Not really. No, I don't care.
It's not going to make you tune
I was trying to think maybe. I was trying to think of a reason to care. I don't have any.
4 million people watching Raw.
It's like, remember way back when they used to do the cross promotion, and then you'd watch Raw, and they'd be like, "Oh, tonight after Raw, watch Pack Blue because somebody's going to be a special guest."
La Femme Nikita is after.
And like Edge would be in La Femme Nikita or something.
Now he's on Haven with the Sci-Fi Network now, Edge.
Oh, yeah.
He's
I mean, if somebody wants to pop up on What's Nene Leakes on? She's on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Is that what it is?
Val Venus is going to be at La Femme Nikita tonight. After Raw, tune in. No, the Real Housewives, and he had that guy from that family show. I don't even know what the name of the show is, but they're from Atlanta, both these shows. Okay, I get it. Atlanta, you're in Atlanta for Raw.
Right.
But there's 4 million people watching Raw that are not from Atlanta that do not care about these two shows, and you shove it down our throats, and it makes you want to turn the TV off.
Well, I think that, and I'm sorry not to put down my fellow wrestling fans, but there are a lot of, how do I say this, trashy people that watch wrestling. Also a lot of trashy people that watch The Real Housewives.
What are you trying to say?
So they can capture that audience. What they fail to realize is that the trashy wrestling fans already watch Total Divas. So they can't watch The Real Housewives. It's just too much.
Yeah, I just don't get it, and I hope that it goes away.
Have you ever watched The Real Housewives?
Never.
Especially the Atlanta ones where they're really brutal. I mean, they get into some serious cat fights. I just wonder, can one of the Total Divas actually make it in a real fight against somebody from The Real Housewives? That I would like to know.
If it's real, probably not. If it's scripted, then of course.
It'd be amazing. I would like to see. I saw one of these the recap shows. You know, the reunion shows at the end of the season. Man, they went at it.
Why do you watch that crap?
I just happened to watch it. It was like, oh my goodness, these chicks are blasting each other.
It's on DVR. You have scheduled on your phone to watch this. You're religious.
Every week, right after the 90-minute version of Monday Night Raw on Hulu Plus, I watch.
Well, they cut out all the good parts.
I watch The Real Housewives. Yeah.
All right, so we have Cena and Ambrose. I loved them in the triple threat tag team match with Usos and Goldust and Stardust because you bring relevance back to the tag team titles with Cena and Ambrose, the main storyline.
Do you like to see? Some people really hate when they just team up people for no reason.
I like it. This is because if the tag team titles are on the line, and you give the tag team titles to Ambrose and Cena, because you're not having Lesnar on the show. So you got to have some kind of title to be relevant. You know, the IC title, you have Ziggler losing to Orton.
Yeah.
Who else? The U.S. title, nobody cares about that title anymore. You have Sheamus having that. But, like, if you would have Ambrose and Cena have the titles, it's kind of like back when you would have, like, Austin and Triple H be tag team champions, but they're facing each other.
Yeah.
But, like, I would like that if they would have won. But, like, I like it because it's fresh matchups.
What about when it was Austin and The Undertaker?
Did they?
That's awesome. They did, and they won. They were tag team champs. It was amazing.
That makes it cool, and it brings relevance back to the tag team titles.
But listen, Glenn, I know that you are hoping for the second coming of the Rock and Sock connection, but it's not going to happen.
Mankind. Have you seen pictures of Mankind?
Now?
Mick Foley, dude.
No, it's been a minute.
He looks brutal. He would not be able to get back in the ring.
I don't think he plans on it.
No, he doesn't. But I'm saying, that would be awesome if he did. But
he has to get back in shape a little bit.
Not that he was ever really in shape, but he looks. There's no way.
Well, he's got a little extra cushioning now to take those blows.
Well, dude, the guy can't walk more than 10 minutes without having to sit down.
But his daughter.
Yeah, she's
trying to wrestle now.
She is. That's
she's
true.
Attractive.
She's
over 18, right?
Geez, we better.
Let's skip on to the next part. Whatever we're going to talk about next. We'll just go. Yeah, we'll get away from that.
I think she is. I think she's in college.
Sure, sounds good to me.
We can check really quick before we get blasted on social media for talking about an underage girl.
Sure, Arizona State. That's probably where she goes. I don't know.
I mean, if she was like 5 when that Beyond the Mat documentary came out.
I don't want to do this math.
I mean,
do wrestling fans
that was like
math?
16 years ago. So
sure, that's 21.
She's legal.
Good. Fantastic.
All right. When she gets in the ring, we'll talk about her.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that she's legal. But then you have Goldust and Stardust.
Yeah.
Tag team titles. If they were to lose it, I mean, they're kind of lose momentum a little bit, but
they would. They're a lot of fun.
But then you can give it right back. You could have Ambrose screw over Cena. They lose the tag team titles. Get back to Goldust and Stardust, and then Cena and Ambrose can go at each other. But how did you like when you have the Hell in a Cell match? Contract on the pole between Cena and Ambrose, and they move it up to last night. I think that was a good idea.
Yeah, I liked moving it up until last night because it's just too much of that. Yeah, you got to put some other stuff at Hell in a Cell as well. It was just entirely too much going on with that pay-per-view just surrounding 4 guys. You know, this isn't WrestleMania. It's not going to be a 3-hour pay-per-view where you could get away with Daniel Bryan and Triple H and then, you know, moving into the championship match. You needed to get this done and over with and just move on and have 2 different matches. And
it brought the main event to actually mean something on Raw, which hasn't happened in so many weeks.
Been a long time, yeah.
Like, it made you want to tune in to the main event. We had what? You had Rusev versus Mark Henry one week.
Yeah.
You had all these other matches that really didn't matter.
You had Mark Henry rallying America one week.
Awful main event on Raw, but this actually made you want to stick around to see what happens. It hooked you in, and it made you want to stick around, which was great.
And this was better than the contract signing that you always ends up in a brawl anyway. This way we had the brawl and then the contract, and we'll just do it.
Ambrose gets the win, so Ambrose versus Rollins, Hell in a Cell, and then you have Cena versus Orton for the 100th, 1000th time. But it's going to be Hell in a Cell. So
are you a little nervous that because all the momentum the Rollins-Ambrose rivalry has, and it's a blast to watch, are you a little nervous that this ends it? And then you're like, well, where do they go from here?
Well, the way they're setting it up, I think that it will end, but I think they're fine because you may have Ambrose go against Cena now in a more extended program, and then you're going to have they're setting up Rollins versus Orton.
I think my prediction last week's right.
You're right on the ball. That's why you got hired.
Orton drops him for the RKO when he cashes in the contract. And that'll be awesome.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, you can have Orton versus Rollins and still keep both those guys heels.
Absolutely.
Because you can have Orton kind of distance himself from the Authority, but still be the cocky jerk that everybody loves to hate, but still have him going against Rollins. And they can have some amazing matches with RKOs flying out of nowhere on Rollins.
Rollins jumping off the top of the cage and Orton hitting an RKO.
If Orton gives an RKO off the top of the Hell in a Cell, catches him, delivers it, that would be amazing. There's so many spots you can do with Rollins and Orton. It'd be awesome.
Oh yeah.
But then if Cena is going to be facing Ambrose, who do you have Lesnar face, and where is Lesnar? I mean, this is getting a little bit too much, I think.
He's hanging out, being Sable's husband. Being like, hey, remember that time that you were in the bikini contest and you just had handprints on your boobs?
Jerry Lawler went crazy.
We could watch that for $9.99.
$9.99. But seriously, I mean, there's no champion. The IC title doesn't mean anything anymore. U.S. title means nothing. Tag team titles, okay, whatever, a little bit with Goldust, but
I think that's the point of getting so many people involved in the way that they are right now, is that it distracts you a little bit from the fact that all of a sudden, the whole point of, Seth Rollins for the last 3 weeks has basically been the WWE Championship. Usually all this chaos...
Briefcase is now the championship?
No, just the guy himself. Yeah. Usually all this chaos revolves around a WWE Championship, but instead they've taken all these people and it's revolved around Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
It's like he's sort of a person, but he's more of a symbol. We don't have a championship. What's the next best thing that somebody can have? Seth Rollins? I don't know.
But here's the thing: if Lesnar comes back, who's going to face him? He destroyed Cena, the top guy, twice.
Right. That's the important thing: is you have not created a clear-cut number one contender. Just because these guys both hate Seth Rollins doesn't mean that Seth Rollins is a number one contender.
Right.
It just means that somebody hates him. So where do you go from here? And there's no stipulation. Cena and Orton usually put on a good match. But, what does that match mean?
It doesn't mean anything. It's a filler match.
Because they're not even necessarily hating each other right now. Orton, he hates, at least in the show, he hates parading down and taking on John Cena every week at this point. So it's like, oh, here they go again. And, it's losing its luster. And if this was, I don't know, one of these guys is fighting and vying to be the number one contender, maybe. Ambrose and Rollins, you love that matchup just because of the build-up, and we've yet to have a legit Rollins-Ambrose match that we've all been craving for months now. But again, where does it go at the end of that? I don't know.
The only way they could probably get out of this is is there still Survivor Series? Do they still have that pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's next month, obviously,
right?
Because TLC is December. Only way that they could possibly get out of this, because there's no way it was believable to see Rollins beat Lesnar because Lesnar has to be beat down like he was with Cena.
Right.
In order for Rollins to get a clean win over Lesnar. You're not going to see Ambrose deliver dirty deeds to Lesnar and have Lesnar. There's no way. Orton, I can see a little bit, but he's not going to be helping Rollins. He would stop Rollins. Because if he lays out Lesnar, like you said, if he lays out Lesnar with the RKO and Rollins comes down to cash in, you're right, because Orton's going to stop Rollins. You would think that would happen. So the only way I think they can get out of this is if they have a Survivor Series like 4-on-4 match, and the Money in the Bank contract is up for grabs. Whoever wins gets the Money in the Bank. That way Rollins doesn't have to be involved. He can lose it still look strong. And you have someone else, a more believable person for Lesnar.
Yeah, I think with Lesnar, you sit here and Roman Reigns is getting such a strong push and going to become the obvious number one contender that him being sidelined kind of sidelines those plans. So this kind of leads you to believe, all right, is that still what's in the cards?
Yeah.
Or now you're really putting Rusev over by last week having The Rock show up and him going back and forth with the Big Show. So at Hell in a Cell, do you see Rusev manhandle the Big Show to make him seem super strong? And that could be the only person that could then really stand to Brock Lesnar's size and strength and everything else.
But here's the thing. Lesnar is a bad guy. Rusev is a bad guy.
Yeah.
You know,
But Lesnar is still an anti-hero.
Yeah, he is. But do you really kind of turn Lesnar with Heyman into more of the favorable with the crowd over Rusev and then give Rusev the title? I mean,
I don't know.
Is Rusev a filler champion until the Royal Rumble when he loses it to like?
And that'd be a terrible idea.
The Rock.
There's a guy that
becomes champion
that could be around for a while. I don't know what you do. All these injuries have really hurt them. Maybe we see the return of Daniel Bryan. I don't know.
That's true. Ugh. I mean, I love Daniel Bryan. But that whole experiment as him as champion, it was a nice little run. B+ player. It was great.
Oh, man.
Yes, movement was great. WrestleMania was great. But I just don't see that being a long-term solution. I mean, and whatever happened to this 30-day compete rule you have 30 days to defend the championship. Lesnar's going to go over that.
Well,
whatever happened to that rule?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check with Gorilla Monsoon,
but
or President Jack Tunney.
But that is a real rule. That's what they said. Yeah. You have 30 days to defend the title. Lesnar is going to go over 30 days.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to make a lot of people angry right now, Glenn.
Oh boy.
When you say it is a real rule, it's a real rule and a fake.
It's still real to me, damn it.
And a fake.
It's still real to me. All right. Before we move on to the rumors, because that's what the meat of the show is going to be with Hogan and Kurt Angle. Any final thoughts on Raw?
No, not until the This Is Awesome moment.
Which we will end the show.
We'll get to that. Raw was. I mean, it was fine. It was what it was. He had some good mixes in there. I think actually my favorite moment besides the This Is Awesome moment of the week, what didn't even happen on this Raw. It happened last Raw, but we didn't get to watch it until SmackDown, which was the Triple H and The Rock.
Now that leads
face to face
to some possible match. That could be something that WrestleMania 31 or 32, which I think 32 is in Dallas.
Yeah, sounds right.
I think it's going to be in Dallas at the Texas Stadium.
Yeah,
which. When Triple H was like, "Oh, we can do it at WrestleMania. We can do it in front of 100,000 people."
Right,
100,000 people instantly got my brain turned into Dallas, Texas, AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, they're going to try to set some records there.
Definitely, and Triple H can still wrestle. Obviously, The Rock is still in great shape. I would not, as much as I dislike Triple H, maybe as a management person or how he does things or who he hires.
Right,
he would still draw with The Rock. That would be an epic.
Oh, it'd be
main
huge.
Event.
Yeah.
And they could still have a great match. It wouldn't be anybody carrying each other. It would be still a great match.
As much as you want to hate Triple H for all those reasons, you're right. But I couldn't help but watch that and be so entertained.
It was great.
Because sometimes, maybe I put Chris Jericho in this as well. And Stone Cold. In terms of the rapport that they have and things that they could just go off and do. When they were face to face, and The Rock just sits there and is like, wait, why? We're the only two guys in this room right now. Why are we this close to each other? You know, and he's like, it's kind of weird. And Triple H's like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird for me, too. Those are the only two guys that can then just, like, get that fiery in each other's face and then play off of each other and just totally back off. And the whole thing at the end about going to dinner, how great was that?
You could set it up for 31, but, like, there's so... Okay, Austin could be having one more match.
Yeah, you have Austin coming back at some point.
But it makes more sense to wait till 32 in Texas for Austin.
Yeah, that's true.
But then again, that's one more year for Austin, you know, a little bit older.
He started to kind of sit back on those rumors now that he may not be coming back as soon as we thought.
We don't want to spoil it when he does come back.
That's true.
Then you have Hogan. And
no. Hulk Hogan is quickly turning into Ric Flair with a porno tape.
Dude, Ric Flair can still wrestle.
I'm not sure that he should.
But Flair could put on if he put Flair versus Cena, Hogan versus Cena, I think you would get a better match from Flair. And
every time Ric Flair gets flipped over and comes down on his back, I worry that he may not be getting up.
He lands on the side now because of that
It's been that way, I think, for 15 years.
Because of his plane accident. The plane crash. But Hogan could do a leg drop, and he can literally just spread out and break apart like a piece of glass. His hip could be just pop out of place.
Here's my problem with Hogan versus John Cena. You will see 7 moves.
You would see Hogan get punched.
You see Hogan hulking up and punching back.
You see this?
That's right. Well, I feel like that's all counted as one.
Okay.
You see, I'm sorry, let me give you 8 moves, because you have John Cena's 5. Then you have Hulk Hogan hulking up, right?
Okay.
And doing the pointing at you after the punches. Then you see the Hulk Hogan boot to the face, followed by the Hulk Hogan leg drop.
Do you think you still drop a leg without breaking in half?
Well, I mean, he has to. How else is he going to win?
Okay, if Cena gives Hogan an AA, I cringe when Hogan
so maybe
lands.
we should go back to 7 moves, and Cena just doesn't do that 5th move.
You can't put Hogan in the STFU. There's no way that guy can bend that way. I don't think. He would break a leg. It would be great. The build up for it would be amazing.
I mean, you saw him moving around that ring at WrestleMania. He was just walking around.
He was winning.
He wasn't even in a match, and he was having a hard time.
If he's medically cleared, if the doctors go, you can wrestle one more match, do you let him still?
The only doctor that's going to medically clear him, would it be? It's either going to be Dr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon and his pill writing. Here, just take this. It's fine. Just like he did. Or Isaac Yankem, a DDS. Kane, and he's just going to sign off on it. He's like, I have a medical license. I'm a dentist. I'm a doctor.
Vince comes in his doctor's suit with a weird outfit. Just puts the old thing on your knee. He gets, okay, you're good to go.
Or
you
maybe
wrestle at WrestleMania.
Maybe Dr. Steve Austin in his bedpan. I don't know.
But Hogan Cena would be great build up. I mean, that's a rumor that's going around right now.
Would it be great build up? Because we all know what's going to happen.
Well, you have Cena singing songs at Hogan. You have Hogan doing what you're going to do every week.
Yeah.
But it would be great entertainment. It'd be better what they're doing right now.
Would it? I don't know.
Would you rather have Cena versus Orton at WrestleMania? Cena Orton at WrestleMania or Cena Hulk Hogan?
Well, I know that the Cena-Orton match could go longer.
We've seen it so many times.
Yeah, I know. But we've also seen the Hulk Hogan comeback many times.
Here's the thing, too. Cena and Hogan have such big egos. Who is going to let the other one get over? Obviously, you would think Cena because he's a younger one.
Right.
But come on. Hogan has control over his character. You think Hogan's going to let him win?
I only want to see the match if Hulk Hogan comes out as the real American. The Patriot or whatever with his mask.
His mask on. No, that would be awful. I think one more match would be great, but
I think it's got to be a tag team match with John Cena.
So Hogan comes in, does his 2 moves, that's it?
I think that's what
I would be so devastated.
He can't do 2 moves in a 15-minute match, Glenn.
Be a special guest referee.
Hogan?
Austin versus Cena, Hogan, special guest referee.
Oh, man.
That'd be great.
Austin versus Hogan.
No.
Like they alluded to last year.
Austin has 1 match in him. You don't waste it on Hulk Hogan. Because Hogan can't do anything. Unless you just have Austin stunning him.
John
like
Cena
10
cannot
times.
carry a Hulk Hogan match.
No.
The reason Cena and The Rock worked is because The Rock can work.
Yes. Cena cannot. Yeah, Cena won't be able to carry Hogan.
No.
It would be so bad. It would be like that Jeff Hardy versus.
You could turn Daniel Bryan heel again against Hulk Hogan.
Hogan versus Bryan?
I'm sorry,
That'd be the worst WrestleMania ever.
But that's the only workhorse that could work with Hulk Hogan and make it look real.
No,
and good.
because Hogan wouldn't be able to keep up with Bryan.
But he doesn't have to.
Yeah, he
Daniel
does.
Bryan would make it look like he's keeping up with him.
And I cannot see Hogan going, yeah, put me in the yes lock, brother.
Maybe Hogan will end the streak. Oh, wait.
Then you have Sting coming back possibly for a match. You have Sting, Hogan, Austin, Rock, Lesnar at WrestleMania. That's too many egos.
Is this a WWE Legends house?
That would be a great
That's what WrestleMania 31 is already.
With
sign
Mean
up.
Gene.
Sign up. Yeah.
With Justin Roberts. Oh.
I need to see Sergeant Slaughter at this WrestleMania. I need to see the Iron Sheik.
Honky Tonk Man.
Honky Tonk Man.
The
Yeah.
Godwin brothers.
Greg Valentine should probably get involved somehow.
He's going to be in there. Get Piper in there.
Arn Anderson. He's already
yes.
backstage.
Bring back the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, sure.
Mongo McMichael. Let's bring back Chris Benoit. Oh.
Oh, man. Too soon.
Eddie Crash Hot.
Crash Holly was never a legend. Stop it.
He's a legend. That guy was amazing.
I think you meant Molly Holly.
I think we have our guest. You got to do something. I don't know why you got to leave, but
Yeah.
you got. I don't know why you're getting out of your seat, but we're gonna go to our interview right now. Ethan Carter III from TNA Wrestling, joining us right here on the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show after this break.
The Cleveland Sound Radio Network, a variety of radio shows available on demand whenever you want to listen. CLEsound.com.
Welcome back to the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. I'm Glenn Moore. Steve went off to do something, I'm not sure, but our guest today is TNA superstar, TNA wrestler. He's from the Cleveland area, from Willoughby, holding down the east side of Cleveland. EC3, Ethan Carter III. How you doing today, buddy?
Hey, Glenn. How are you?
You sound thrilled, buddy.
Oh, no, I'm always thrilled to talk to my brethren from the great city of Cleveland, Ohio.
All right. Last night on Raw, they opened the show, the live shot on Raw, the first live shot. They pan the crowd, and in the middle of the shot is a guy in the first row wearing your T-shirt, Trouble, 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 Trouble. And I shot you a text of the picture, and I know you're getting a lot of social media and Twitter mentions about it. that had to be pretty cool. And A, that they didn't make the guy change his T-shirt during the show, and B, they opened up the show with a shot of the guy with the T-shirt on. That was pretty cool.
Well, I think first off, the T-shirt's not your typical ugly as hell wrestling shirt. It is excellent. It is stylish, and it is available at shoptna.com. So I think that being so indescript and unknowingly god-awful, gaudy wrestling shirt that it probably slipped by him quickly. But, my style transcends all genres of sports entertainment, so I'm glad someone, paid the well worth $20 and, sported it to their local wrestling show. That's cool. I'm good. I'm glad.
You being from the Cleveland area, on the east side, and from Willoughby, Ohio, and Cleveland seems to have a hotbed of current superstars, and obviously you and TNA, and Jessica Havoc, who just is a newcomer in TNA. She was a Knockouts champion earlier, and then you have in WWE, you got the Miz and also Dolph Ziggler. Both guys, Miz from Parma, Ziggler from Lakewood, you from Willoughby, and then Havoc from Massillon area. Cleveland seems to be a hotbed for current stars in professional wrestling.
Yeah, I think coming from the area, there's a bit of humility and eccentricness attached to being able to survive what goes on there. Not so much like it's a danger zone, but so much as the constant misery of being in Cleveland is kind of hilarious and life-changing. So being able to mask that with eccentric personalities and the ability to entertain people, I think that's a big thing to do with it. All of us are unique in our own right, and I don't know if it's the area as much as just a couple great personalities cultivated by living out there, you know.
And I like how, you know, me being an East Sider from Aurora, and you're from Willoughby on the East Side, and, you know, Miz on the West and Ziggler on the West. It's kind of nice to see a guy from Cleveland, but also representing the East Side of Cleveland as well.
That's right, man. East Side has some too, you know. We got some talent out there, I guess. Well, and yeah. Me and the guy who was the head writer on Cheers are the most famous graduates from my high school. So that's pretty. Now you went to. Did you go to astronaut too?
Did you go to Eastlake North or Willoughby South?
Ugh.
I got to do my research, but I figured out.
Willoughby South. God.
Now a radio personality here in Cleveland, Dieter from MMS. He went to Willoughby South, so he's another. He's a well-known guy, I guess, here in Cleveland.
Yeah, he is. He actually, before I was signed to WWE, he was a referee of a match between Raymond Rowe and I at a promotion in Cleveland. He was a special guest referee. So Dieter was always cool. He's always a cool dude. I believe he graduated right before I started, though. So he didn't shove me in a locker or, like, give me wedgies or anything like that.
Now, I mentioned, you know, guys from Cleveland. Everybody has their own path to the professional wrestling, you know, getting to WWE, getting to TNA, getting on TV on a weekly basis. And you can catch EC3 every Wednesday at 9 on Spike TV. What was your path? And I've listened to some interviews with you. You're on Roddy Piper's podcast here recently. He talked about how you got into the business, you know, college, and you took some, you know, time off to go to college, came back to the world. But Miz went to Real World. You know, he took Real World to getting on, you know, Tough Enough. And you have Ziggler, Kent State, amateur wrestler. It's very successful at Kent State. What was basically, how can you sum up your base path to getting to TNA?
Yeah, I mean, all of us did come up differently, but I think all of us had the exact same passion and love for the industry, the business. You know, Miz did the real thing, but he was obviously influenced by wrestling the whole time, and you know, wanted to do that as much. And Ziggler was a tremendous amateur wrestler. Bless the Lord, way to do it the real way. But like, he was also heavily influenced and loved it. And you know, they didn't do independence. Like, I came up, you know, I was okay at things, but I wasn't a standout, and I didn't have any reality show credits, so I started wrestling in a dingy little garage. They put a ring up in, called it a wrestling school, right across the street from the Lake County Captain Stadium. It is not there anymore. Trained by a local guy named J-Rock, and came up through the indies, and I guess my path would be similar to a baseball player being, you know, scouted and picked up and, you know, given a couple looks here and there, eventually thrown in his system kind of thing. So he started independently wrestling, scouted by people that were in positions of power in WWE, get some looks here and there, eventually still take initiative. I went down to OVW, which is developmental for WWE at the time, trying to get signed, got severely hurt, blew my knee, had to stop doing that, came home, and, you know, surgery, rehabilitated, eventually found myself another way to get a look when I was healthy, and got signed and went through their system for a while, and yada, yada, yada. Now I'm a huge star in TNA because I'm the man, so...
You are the man. You're involved from day one in TNA. You were involved in the major storylines and put up on a pedestal as soon as you came to the pay-per-view and also on TV. So you've been there for over a year, and you've been involved as a main character. I mean, that has to be going from WWE to being on NXT, which really wasn't as in the forefront like it is right now, and then going to
you can honestly say it was not in the forefront at all, because they didn't give a flying. They didn't care anything about what happened on it. So yeah, it wasn't. But go on.
But then
keep putting me over.
But then you go to TNA, and then you're instantly just like that. You're in the main storyline. You're the nephew of the owner of TNA, and you've been, you know, on cruising to the top and being involved in major storylines. And as a, you know, competitor yourself, within yourself, that you want to be the top guy. You want to be the guy making the most money and being in the main event matches. To go from not being on TV, WB, and being pushed back to being on TNA, that had to be great for you, and also probably a whole slew of confidence to go your way when you got the ability to be a main front guy in TNA.
Yeah, you summed it up pretty well. Sorry, I'm in a different room with an echo now. I don't know where to start with that. I guess it's just I was gifted a great opportunity in TNA, like totally trusted me, gave me the ball, and I think they did something unique with me because I was a fresh canvas, so to speak, since, my run in WWE was pretty much non-existent unless you're a diehard weirdo wrestling fan. You had no idea who I was, which was cool. So it was good. A lot of people that came over from WWE, from TNA, had their, repertoire already, and they were already somewhat established, so I'm almost a clean slate to play with. And very unique build. I had vignettes leading up to a debut, and although I was thrusted kind of a main storyline, I was also slowly allowed to ingrain myself into the fan base's psyche because it wasn't immediate at the top of the card, so to speak, but it was immediate in a top angle, but a slow build through opposition and my own story to go along with it. So I was very lucky, very blessed. They took care of me and gave me a great shot, and I am completely thankful for that because I love it. It's awesome. Super fun.
And you go to, work in a program with Sting. You have Kurt Angle, Bully Ray, from the Dudley Boy. I mean, you have some guys that, I grew up watching, and I loved to watch when Sting was in WCW, and obviously Angle and Bully Ray when they were in WWE. But to go now to working programs with these guys, and to be the main event guy as well, that has to be kind of a dream come true, because I know you probably grew up watching these guys back when you were dreaming of being a professional wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've mentioned multiple times how they're the kind of guys that inspired me to even begin doing this, so it's kind of surreal being across the ring from them, from a little kid loving Sting to coming in as a teenager and, when Kurt Angle began his career, really making you want to do what I do. And like, Dudley's ECW, being a real wrestling fan, you knew ECW and you loved that brand as well. So, I mean, all three, pretty cool, pretty surreal. But, when you do it for a while and you get comfortable, you kind of look at it as just opposition then. It is who you are facing. This is making no sense what I'm saying, but it makes sense in my head, so let me try to rephrase it. It's surreal for a second, but then when the bell rings, it's business, and you have to match up. You have to live up to what's been given to you.
Now, the past year, I really feel TNA has made some major strides with all the talent, storylines, keeping viewers engaged for not only for that week, but progressing and ultimately building a fellowship. And we all know WWE's programming, and Steve and I talk about it on the podcast, and we have our own feelings about it. But obviously, WWE is the main event; they are the top tier, and you guys are slowly building, towards creating some competition for WWE. And I'm not saying that because in a bad way, but that's a good thing, because I feel like competition for anything, any sport, any business is great, not only for the company trying to build up, but also for the guy at the top of the pedestal.
That's true. I mean, competition is one thing, like they're top dog in the world, but a lot of the world doesn't know that there's alternatives that exist, and we must be the top alternative. And maybe it's not a competition per se where we're going to completely affect the business and we're fighting for every last dollar, but a strong alternative that provides something unique and different that fans seemingly do want with the wrestling, which maybe they're not getting over there. So that's probably our goal, but the only way to do that is to be, consistently putting out strong television week in, week out. And past few months, I really feel like we've done that pretty well. And you can't really focus on what others are doing. You have to focus on yourself. And hopefully we're doing that by making good TV. But oddly enough, worldwide, we are neck and neck with them. So,
yeah,
little known fact. But
When it comes to a possible TV deal, I'm not sure the actual update or what's going on with the home of Impact Wrestling. Are you guys set on Spike for next year? And do you guys have a home? And as a professional wrestler in a company that maybe the future is a little bit unknown, does that scare you a little bit that, hey, maybe we won't get picked up, maybe we will? Is a future? What is the future of TNA? Is it on Spike? Is it somewhere else? But is there an update with that?
I think the most I could say, because I do not know the exactness of it, but it should be announced soon, and the future is going to be great and, better than ever, hopefully. So, yeah. Soon, I guess I can say, bestly, because I don't know details.
Yeah.
Just like being a Carter, I'm not in on the inking of big multi-million-dollar deals yet, but,
Is it going to be Spike?
I do not know.
Yeah. And how
We're in constant negotiations is the tagline, which is true. So, who's to say? Who's to say?
And we talked, back when you were here in Cleveland and whatnot at a Tribe game, and I asked you, how the future, as a guy that's getting paid, and does that scare you when maybe Spike wasn't going to renew, or if it is going to be Spike, but the whole up in the air with all the rumors and whatnot, or is that something you really don't pay attention to?
Well, the first thing is, the last thing I'm going to do is pay attention to rumors that are cultivated on the internet from the majority of people that have nothing else to do but create misguidedness and speculation and oftentimes hate. So, no, it didn't really bother me because I trusted who I work for, and that trust should pay off.
Now, you say you trust who you work for. Obviously, who you work for trusts you.
It's my family, duh. but yeah.
And I'm talking about having creative control over what you're saying. It's not scripted. There's a premise. There's a line you have to, a story you have to build. But are they giving you basically, hey, this is what you need to knock through, but go out there and just kind of wing it, and they trust you enough to give you enough creative control to go out there and get the point across?
I think there's a lot of collaboration. I wouldn't say I'm out there completely winging it unless something comes up that you're not accustomed to, or something you can't prepare for.
Right.
Like fans chanting, fans doing this, and this, and this. And sometimes in the moment you feel something and you do it, but there's a lot more collaboration with creative to be able to tell the story you want to tell, which you're really confident about, and. If it ever misses, they'll let me know, and if it hits, they'll let me know. And I think what's great about being in TNA is they've allowed me to develop myself as a character with assistance, as opposed to trying to manufacture something that doesn't resonate at all with people, that is totally against who you are as a person. So yeah, that's what I think really is what has led to some pretty nice success with them, is a lot of collaboration and a lot of faith. So it's cool. It's fun. And, I mean, geez, if fans are chanting things at me,
how do you
respond? Yeah. Go on.
No, I was going to say, how do you feel from maybe the moment you were put in the spotlight in TNA a year later to now, not only maybe on the microphone, but also in the ring? Do you feel like you're improving, giving more control over maybe your character, or at least giving more of a say on your character?
I think, obviously, I've improved by just being in the ring with the guys they put me in. That's a great improvement right off the bat. Secondly, confidence in who I am, knowing that the rug is going to be pulled if there's one misstep, or there's a bunch of competing forces behind the scenes against me, working, to try to stunt my growth or things like that, like knowing that everyone's on board and looking to the future. I mean, yeah, like the confidence. I always had this theory in wrestling that you're only going to be so good, but those that become great are just the ones that become confident. So I guess initially I was kind of verbatim scripting and just watching myself back. You can see it in the eyes that those aren't my words as much, or it looks like I'm like trying to remember what I'm going to say as opposed to just feeling what I should say. So it really helped with the New York tapings in a live audience, and just kind of like that energy inspires, and you can feel it out there, and kind of the light went off on how I should really speak. And then now, I mean, give me a mic, I'll take it away, to quote Old Dirty Bastard, whatever. Just let me talk.
You have, obviously, you're big on social media. You can follow Ethan Carter on Twitter at Ethan Carter TNA. A good follow on Twitter for professional wrestling. But do you feel, and I come this because, you know, watching the Attitude Era in the 90s and WCW, and, you know, there was no social media. You didn't see what these guys were doing in their personal lives or posting pictures on Instagram. I mean, there was no social media. Do you feel that social media maybe not killing pulling the curtain back, so to speak, on professional wrestling, but maybe kind of delving a little bit too much into you and also other guys that are on social media, active on social media, or do you think it benefits you, you know, kind of developing your own little brand?
I think it's hard to say either way, because I definitely see and agree with your point about, you know, protecting who a character is, or someone you see on TV not being so easily accessible. But it's also the world we live in now. So as opposed to like, oh, it's the way it used to be, it's probably better. Yeah, maybe, or maybe we can find a way to make it work into our favor even more so. And a lot of things like ratings for television are more outdated now, and more of the product can be gauged as social media activity and stuff of that nature, which is strange, but it is true. And so I think it's a case-by-case basis that a talent should require itself to maybe not blend the lines too much, which I try to do, but it's also hard to not live a normal life. So it's what we can make of it is my best answer. Well, I see your point. Like, because if I was 3 years old and had Twitter for some reason, because I'm 3 years old, I would have it, and I tweeted Hulk Hogan and got a retweet, that'd make my life for years. But, you know, but I also shouldn't be able to, like, oh, that's the guy that retweeted me. Now I see him on TV. But no, now I see him 3 segments on TV. Now I see him 3 times a week on TV as opposed to once every month, you know?
Yeah.
Where it meant something more. So it is the world we live in now. All that, we just have to make it work.
And that's kind of what I was kind of getting to, was like kind of overexposure of guys. And you bring up a great point of, you know, watching a program once a week, and that's all you got. And you got the pay-per-view once a month, so you saw them, you know, 4 or 5 times during a month. And now you can pull up their social media account and you see guys taking pictures with guys maybe that they're feuding with, or, you know, it's like, whoa, they're friends in real life, or they don't like it. I mean, it's kind of, and I think if social media was rampant like it was back in the 90s, it would kind of be an eye opener on what really happens behind the scenes. And I think it probably would have changed it would totally change the culture of what professional wrestling is if social media was active back when, you know, both shows on Monday night were getting 5.0, 5.5 ratings and getting millions of people watching. It would be kind of an eye opener.
Yeah, I agree. You know, but 'tis the world we live in, my friend. So, but like as I said, a talent's responsible to not blur those lines so much. So, I mean, hell, I fired Rockstar Spud. The first thing I did was unfollow him on Twitter. And I'm sure the world saw that. So,
and I saw the Instagram video. I mean, it's a great tool to do it. You know, something like that to kind of continue building the storyline via social media. It's a great tool, and like I said, to build your own brand. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to be continuity. I can't talk. I'm sorry, I'm jet lagged, so I'm rambling a little bit. Continuity within it. Yeah, whatever. Yes, you're absolutely right.
All right, you grew up here in Cleveland, obviously, and you're a big Browns fan. Browns going to win over the Steelers on Sunday. Huge win. They're 3-2 going into the game against Jacksonville that you probably will be attending since you're down there in Florida. But got to get your thoughts on the Brownies.
Man, this is a team, like, this is a Cleveland team, you know? It's not made up of a bunch of stars or a bunch of things. It's a bunch of dudes that seemingly have a great chemistry within each other and confidence in each other and are just out there, you know, fighting from underneath most of the time, and it's cool. It's awesome. And, our city's way, way, way more of a happy place to be when they have a winning football team, which is probably why it's sucked for the past 11 years. But, I was watching the game in a little shoebox hotel room in Japan on an iPad on an illegal stream, so, Browns fans are obviously dedicated to watching, and what they're doing is cool, and I just hope there's not... The thing about Cleveland fans, and I'm gonna put them on blast here for a second, is they talk a lot of shit. I don't know if you need to bleep that out, but they talk so much shit, and now that we're good, just be humble about it, go about your day, do your business. Come on, the Steelers beat us 18 times in a row practically. We won one cold weather game that was horse shit. But, don't rub it into them, because that's what they would do. Just be like, yep, and continue on. Business as usual. That's what we need to be doing. And as a team, they just need to not overlook these opponents, which I just listened to Joe Thomas talk on Mike and Mike, and what a dude. They don't seem like the kind of team that would overlook anybody, so I'm really excited to see how it goes.
What you've seen from Brian Hoyer, do you pay him the $10 to $12 million a year that he's probably going to be asking for if he continues to play, or do you dare let him go so the Johnny Football era can start here in Cleveland?
That is such a tough question. I'm glad I'm not Ray Farmer to have to deal with it, because Hoyer seemingly has the intangibles to win. He's never been. I'm a lot like Brian Hoyer, I guess. He's never been handed anything in his profession. He's always worked from underneath. He stayed in the game. He grinded. When he had a little bit of a hope for an opportunity, his knee goes out, and he's sent back, and he has to fight Johnny Football and training. It's what a story, and what a Cleveland guy. And I love his success. I want him to continue doing it. He should probably be paid way more than he is, but 10 to 12. I don't want to get Matt Castles out there,
Yeah.
So hopefully they can negotiate something, but I'd like to see him stay. And as much as I love Johnny Football and I love his attitude, because I love a dude that just doesn't give a shit sometimes and plays at the media and trolls them, I think that's great. And I think he will be really good, but there's value maybe. I'd like to see Hoyer lead his team for the next 4 or 5 years.
All right, to wrap it up, I'm going to play some word association with you. I'm going to say a person's name, and I want you to give me the first couple words that come to your mind. All right, you ready?
Oh God, yes, can't wait.
Rockstar Spud.
The clown. No, that's stupid. Loyal, misguided, heartfelt, tons of heart, but I'm going to destroy him. So, yeah.
All right, Sting.
Icon.
Kurt Angle.
Adios.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, Sting. Icon. Adios. Kurt Angle. Olympian.
Triple H.
Oh, The Game. For real.
That's it? The Game?
The Game for real.
I was hoping for Jerk or...
I have no problems with him other than some of the people he put in positions of power. That's all. There's some dipshits. Well, one, really, but go ahead.
All right, Vince McMahon.
Crazy old man who's awesomely crazy and successful. So he's cool. He's all right.
Dixie Carter.
My sweet loving aunts. What a dream.
Johnny Manziel.
Why was that dollar bill rolled up, bro? Tell me more.
That's I don't know how he didn't get in trouble with that, or that hasn't really, come out to light about what was going on there.
Because, why? Because probably nothing happened, and it's just a 21-year-old dude being awesome. So.
But why would you have a rolled up $20 bill, whatever it was, in the bathroom in Vegas? Come on.
Because you're trolling the internet. You're like playing reverse. It's great.
So that was
I love what
planned.
he
So
did.
you think that was planned?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Final one.
Although it's probably out of your system in 2 days, so I don't know, but whatever. Who's this day?
All right, LeBron James.
Oh, welcome back, buddy. Forget everything I said the last 4 years.
Now, what would you say to LeBron James if I was asking you 4 months ago?
I would say, well, in the word association sense,
Yeah.
extremely gifted, terrible decision. But, as soon as, they kind of were handed the finals in Oklahoma, I kind of just swallowed. I was like, all right. Because losing the first year really helped the blow a lot, because I've never had a team win a championship, but it felt like I did when Dallas won.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this is what it feels like? Wow. So good. But, then after year two, he did it. And then, it's like, respect, mad respect. Okay, still don't appreciate the way it went down, but, respect him. And then year four, you're like, I don't want to hate him too much because maybe he leaves, but I also don't want him to win, so it kind of worked out perfectly. And I even remember I did this Slammiversary match with Bully Ray. Got my, I won, obviously, but, got my butt beat pretty bad. I'm walking back feeling, oh, geez, I'm a grizzled man walk. And I walked by, and it was game 7, and they were down 20, and then I spruced right back up. I'm like, all right, cool. So that happened. But then, now he's back. Now everything's fine.
You've been there for over a year, and you have not lost, or you have not been pinned cleanly in a singles match since you've been at TNA. Is that correct?
That is correct. I've not been pinned or submitted. The losses were all due to negligent partners, whether they were Rockstar Spud, I think I had Magnus once, and then Rockstar Spud. I think MVP was in there once, and Rockstar Spud. Yeah, so I've personally never been pinned.
And that's pretty impressive considering you've been, mixed up with some of the, like you said, Sting and Kurt Angle and some of the icons of professional wrestling. That's something you can brag about, buddy.
Yeah, I do. Every week. Every Wednesday on Impact Wrestling at 9 Eastern on Spike TV.
Will we see Kurt Angle back with TNA? There's a lot of rumors going around. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, there are rumors, and then again, I don't believe rumors.
Yeah.
But I also can't speak for anyone else's business that isn't my own. So, who's to say is my go-to political answer when I don't know what to say. Who's to say?
All right, Ethan Carter III. You can follow him on Twitter at Ethan Carter TNA. You can also watch him every Wednesday, like you mentioned, at 9 p.m. on Spike TV. Always a pleasure talking with you, buddy, and hopefully see you back here in Cleveland to catch a Cavs or a Browns game, buddy.
I'll be back. Thanksgiving. Book it.
Thanks to Ethan Carter III for jumping on the show and being a part of it from Willoughby. Great guy to talk to. Great half-an-hour interview.
Wait, is he gone? He's gone already?
He's gone. Dude, you missed it. You went to the bathroom. You went to the bathroom or something.
Unbelievable.
This can't be a weekly thing, all right? You're going to miss the best this show has to offer with interviews.
Guy's name is 2 letters and then the number 3. I can't believe I missed it.
3.
I'm already a fan.
The last question I asked him, and you missed it obviously, was about Kurt Angle. And there's rumors of him coming back to WWE television, could be leaving TNA. I'm hearing that Triple H and Kurt Angle are butting heads about the number of days Angle needs to work. They want him for full time. Angle doesn't want to do that, obviously. He has some injury issues.
Are you sure that it's not that Kurt Angle wants to marry Stephanie McMahon?
That could be something too. But would you like to see Kurt Angle? He's another name. Add to the WrestleMania list. The Legends house.
Yeah.
I would love to see Kurt Angle with a farewell tour in WB.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
and
Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania, one more time, shooting star press, almost.
That would hurt.
Yeah.
That would hurt. Lesnar would be gone.
He would be an interesting mix. I don't know what you do with Kurt Angle at this point, but
I think
it'd be fun to see him back.
You have him wrestle Adam Rose.
That's who you want him to wrestle?
First, right back, wrestle the bunny. Well, if the bunny is Kurt Angle.
That's what I was just going to say. As soon as, yeah.
You see the bunny do an ankle lock?
Sign me up.
And he goes, woo! He's doing the ankle lock.
It's because they're setting him up to be Kurt Angle.
That would be all. What about Sting versus Kurt Angle?
That could be good.
TNA revisited.
Yeah. That's the only problem.
That'd be good though if they have their old Sting versus Kurt Angle come back as the Olympic hero. That would be good. I wouldn't mind Kurt Angle for a year, a farewell tour, and then having WrestleMania match this year, and then having his final one at 32.
Kurt Angle is who defeats Rusev.
Yes. At WrestleMania.
We don't have enough American action, so
I wouldn't mind that.
That'd be fun, right?
It would be all right. She puts Lana in the ankle lock, makes her tap.
I was the world's first super athlete. I won a gold medal with a broken neck.
You have metal versus metal match.
Absolutely. Metal on a
winner
pole.
gets the other one's metal.
Sure. Suspend him. It's
Obviously.
a ladder match, but you got to grab the medal.
Yes. That would be great. There we go. We're booking WrestleManias for the next 2 years right now.
Sign us up.
It would be great, though. But there are rumors. During the break, when you got back from, I don't know what you were doing, but we're looking at the dirt sheets, and Daniel Bryan could be out past the Royal Rumble.
That's unfortunate.
It's better.
Reminds me of when the Indians signed John Smiley and then he broke his arm.
John Smiley or Juan Gonzalez, where he the first
tears his hamstring.
Hit the first at bat of the season.
Poor Daniel Bryan. Hey, everything's going so well. There it goes.
Now all his stuff is like 80% off on WBShop.com. They're just like selling it like crazy. What if CM Punk comes back too? I mean, there's all these possibilities of surprise.
I got to hear a little bit more before I really think about the CM Punk possibility.
He's not coming back.
Sounds like he's just, TNA offered him a contract too.
That was reportedly.
It's reportedly, allegedly.
I could not, if CM Punk got on TNA, I lost respect for CM Punk, but that would just be awful. And I'm not bashing TNA because we had Ethan Carter III from TNA on the show,
right?
But CM Punk, I don't know.
It would shift things a lot.
He would have to be in control of his character, throw a bunch of money at him.
But TNA's the kind of company that would do that. They would give him control.
They don't have any money though.
But they would give him control of his character.
Well, yeah, but he wants to get paid.
Hell yeah.
It would be awesome.
It's merchandising.
All right, this is awesome moment of the week. This is your little baby here.
All right, here it is. The This Is Awesome moment of the week is based upon any match that we've watched throughout the week with wrestling, from one show to the other, where they have chanted, "This is awesome." Then, our show name. And during that match that they chant, "This is awesome," get to pick a moment of the most awesome. And my pick this week, This Is Awesome moment of the week, is Randy Orton's RKO on Dolph Ziggler to end the match.
It was amazing.
I mean, the match itself was incredible. They obviously were chanting, "This is awesome." And then Ziggler goes for the famous, Randy Orton catches him. Actually, he's going to put him in a powerbomb? I thought, he's just going to powerbomb him, then we'll be done. No. Throws him up into the air, catches him on the way down for the RKO. We talked about last week how the RKO just comes out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
He proves again why he's so billable. He's just so good.
But he's just so bland.
But Ziggler is so fantastic at selling it as well, obviously.
See, I thought Ziggler was going to turn into a DDT. His like...
Yeah.
But no. Threw up in the air, dropping the RKO. Speaking of RKOs, you see that video a person put together of people falling, but they superimpose Orton giving RKOs. And they dub Cole and King doing audio. It's on Bleacher Report. It's the greatest 4 minutes of your life. Pull up on your phone after the show, but it's amazing. You have to check it out. But RKO out of nowhere, top rope, off the top of the Hell in the Cell. If Cena will come off the top of the Hell in the Cell, Orton drops him the RKO.
I hope he RKOs him through the Hell in the Cell.
Oh, that would be great. There's no way Vince will allow that.
No.
Anything bad to happen to Cena.
That would be bad.
It would be awful. What if Cena and Orton have a regular wrestling match inside Hell in the Cell, but they don't even honor the Hell in the Cell at all? Like, it's just
a match.
It's just a match inside. No weapons, no bashing against the fence, nothing. It'd be awful.
Sounds about right.
It'd be awful. Well, I agree with your moment, and since they didn't chant "This is awesome" for any other matches,
no, because why would you?
No, it happens like once a week.
Yeah,
once a week. The crowd wants they want our show to get out. Get out there.
Yeah,
it was great.
As we get more popular, they'll probably chant it more times.
That's true. All right, Justin Roberts fired after Raw last night.
This is what we're hearing. These are reports. Yeah.
It's true.
It is
It's
true.
not reports. It's fact.
It's true. It's true.
It's true.
It's damn true.
WB.com, after the show was over, said, Justin Roberts, we're deciding not to renew his contract. Good luck in his future endeavors.
Wow.
He's been the announcer since 2002. He's been one of the guys that comes on. And he's well-liked backstage, but I guess there was some rift between him and Michael Cole. Reportedly, that Roberts flipped off Cole ringside.
But who hasn't done that to Michael Cole?
That's true. But get some fire. So farewell, Justin Roberts. Good luck in your future endeavors. And maybe TNA will hire you.
It could be. Be the next GM.
That'd be awful. That would be awful. All right. Final thoughts?
I don't know where wrestling's going right now. Everything is up in the air. I'd like to see a champion show up, maybe next week on Raw.
Once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, or something on SmackDown. We'll see. Looking forward to TNA, seeing what direction they go with Ethan Carter, and waiting to find out because Kurt Angle, this could be in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So it could be an explosive show next week if he goes into WWE.
And the home of TNA is going to be Spike TV. Ethan did say on the interview that expect an announcement soon about the future of TNA. So look for that. Thanks to Ethan Carter III for joining us here on the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show on CLESound.com, Stitcher, iTunes, Twitter at CLE Sound, Facebook, CLE Sound. Search for us. Also, the website, CLESound.com. You can go back on iTunes and download all the rest of the podcasts in the network. Our first podcast every Tuesday. We will release our podcast. We'll have an interview next week. Who could it be? Who could be our special guest? We don't know.
I don't know.
Will Steve be here too?
Maybe.
That's another question.
Take a Justin Roberts job.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. I'm Glenn Moore for Steve Guy. We'll see you guys next week.